Oh hey, it's Wes, and it is sweltering today. And thought we'd go outside so that we can take a look at some monitors here. I've done monitor reviews in the past, and honestly, I thought that they were a little bit tedious. So when Viltrox got in touch with me, and they wanted me to look at a new monitor that they had in their store, I was like, ugh. Then I looked it up and found that they actually have something a little bit different. So what we have today is the Timbrecod external monitor. And yes, that is a terrible name for a monitor. Who comes up with these things? So what we're looking at today is the Timbrecod DC-80. And by what we're looking at, I mean what I'm currently looking at. What you're looking at is a much more conventional monitor. It's made of plastic, it's got this surround thing on here, and if we look around in the back, we have a removable battery. And that's what we're used to seeing on field monitors. Let's switch things up a little bit and see what we're looking at. What I'm looking at. All right, so this is different. But is it? I'm gonna plug this in here. And the one big fault, the biggest possible deal breaker of this monitor is going to immediately become apparent to you. It is that this screen is polarized in the wrong direction. If you put on polarized sunglasses, which I generally do, if you have a polarizer on your lens, which you often may, you will not be able to look at this screen. It made it very difficult to demonstrate how bright and beautiful this display is to you. Timbrecod, Viltrox, you're not making this easy. With your sunglasses off, without a polarizer on, this display is beautiful and bright. It's listed as being 500 candelas per meter squared. But when I put this up to another external monitor that has almost the same, I think 450, it looks significantly brighter to the naked eye. Again, it's difficult to show on camera. And so I took it out here thinking that maybe it would be more obvious. And then, when I put it next to my iPad Pro, which has a tremendously powerful display, it looks very similar. Now you do have to dial in the settings a little bit, because this on-camera monitor is just a little bit different from what we're used to. It's not a matte finish. It doesn't have the surround. It's kind of like someone who doesn't make on-camera field monitors decided to make the best field monitor they could. They kind of threw out all the conventions and just went with whatever they wanted to. And so what we get is a value price monitor. That's right, it's $145 for a 7-inch super bright screen that has a headphone jack, it has an audio input, HDMI in and out, which you usually don't get until you pay a lot more, a USB mini port, Come on, guys. What is this, 1998? Jeez. Thankfully that port is only for firmware updates and things that probably won't ever actually happen. You have what appears to be all metal buttons on the top here, and honestly, it's an impressively rugged design. But what's going on the back here? It's all smooth. Well, the thing is, this has an internal lithium-ion battery. And as you can see on the back, it's 3,500 milliamp hours, which is pretty good. Now, this will still only get you, depending on your screen brightness, an hour or two of screen on time. So this is, for some, a deal breaker, and for others, a plus. Now for me, I'm generally only recording for a half hour to an hour at a time, so that's fine. If you're someone who records all day though, this thing is going to be useless to you. That's why we have a DC in here for charging. And it does take a little while to charge. How long? Well, it's a little bit hard to tell because there is no charge meter on here. You basically need to turn it on, and then you can see a little battery thing going up. But again, it doesn't tell you where it is in the charge, so that's a problem for me. And it comes with a great articulating hand, and you can buy a more expensive version that has like this super arm thing that will get it all around. One other thing that is missing that, again, most field monitors would have, there is no additional hot shoe on this. But it does have a speaker. And we have another 1/4 20 here and here. So again, it's like they didn't know what the rules of making an external monitor were when they made this. They took a bright, glossy, crisp, clear, like I cannot tell you how accurate and clear this display is, and stuck it on here, when normally you don't use a glossy display for a field monitor. Put it in a metal casing, all enclosed. This thing feels fantastic in the hand. Now it does have all the usual bells and whistles. You have focus peaking and zebras and all these other things. I find the zebras aren't terribly accurate, but then again, on most field monitors, I find the zebras and focus peaking to not be terribly accurate. Unless you're using a field recorder, it doesn't really have the data it needs to get those things 100% right. And there's lots of controls for brightness and saturation, all that stuff. No surprises there, at least. So honestly, I don't know where to come down on this monitor. Personally, for my needs, as a studio monitor, this is brilliant. It lets me see the colors and the brightness and everything without dulling things down. It has a great refresh rate. It does suffer from some screen tearing when you move it too fast, but overall, it has a lot less lag than other monitors that I've used. If you have any questions about this Timbrecod monitor, let me know down in the comments. So I can't really say whether or not I specifically recommend this monitor or not, because it's got a lot of really great features, but a lot of really big deal breakers depending on who you are. So I've got links down in the description if you want to buy one of these. It'll help support the channel. But until next time, go take some photos.